Hi team. I wanted to go over evaluation with you all for a few minutes. The first thing I'm going to show you, let me just preface it by saying I don't want you to be scared, but I do want to give you some resources that you can use in terms of developing your own evaluation plans. All evaluation plans look different, and it's really dependent on the needs of the organization or the project in terms of which elements of a program evaluation or project evaluation you want to use. So let me just show you the resource that I'm going to give you. This is done by the Kellogg Foundation, and in my opinion, it's one of the best free resources in terms of evaluation handbooks that are available. If you go out and try and buy a program evaluation textbook, you're going to spend upwards of $200, $300. So this is a free resource, and it's specifically meant for people who are running programs. And one area that I really want to point you to, pretty much you can skip down to this section here, Chapter 1, Chapter 2. These are just kind of background information, but Chapter 3 is really where you want to start looking. And as you can see, let me move this out of the way. There are three types of evaluation: project level, cluster, and program and policy making. For the most part, a project manager or a grant manager is going to be responsible for this project level evaluation. So this is really where I want you to spend most of your time thinking about what you would do as a grant manager to ensure that you have the information necessary to answer one very critical question. And in terms of, if you think of a project and its worth and that being 100%, about 25% of that is proving one thing to your funders, and that is that you did a good job with their money. So whatever outcomes you were hoping to get, or perhaps some unintended outcomes, that you have been able to use their funds to achieve a greater good or to achieve positive outcomes. That is the first and foremost question that you're going to get asked. Now, you can use anecdotal information, like you could have your clients provide testimonials, but what your funders are really hoping to see is quantitative data, that's numbers. So if you're supposed to keep kids in school 13 days longer than they normally would be in school, they want to see that you kept those kids in school 13 days longer. To do that, you have to have some systems in place to collect information, and it's not it's not especially difficult. It's just another step that a project manager or a grant manager has to take. This is your really one of your primary responsibilities. It's not something that normally gets shifted to another staff member. So you may remember when we talked about money. Sometimes the tracking and collecting of information about where the money is spent is handled by a financial manager or someone who works with money in your organization. Whereas evaluation is really not something that ever gets handed off. It really is such an important component. I can't stress that enough. Now, obviously, not going to jail is really important, but in terms of the longevity of your project or your program, you definitely want to make sure that you're able to answer that critical question, which is, how successful were you with the funds that you received? And if you can't, it's unlikely that you're ever going to get funding again, especially for that particular project. And if you're dealing with something like a federal grant, this is required. It's, a lot of people like to see it in terms of foundations or private sector, or even the corporate sector givers. But at the federal level, you have to provide this information, and not just provide it, you have to do it on a monthly basis. So it's really important that you kind of get comfortable with what this looks like. So I know that this is a really long document, but again, I want you to focus on this part about project level evaluation, and then kind of skim the rest of it. It has some really useful information. And this little intro here into the Kellogg Evaluation Toolkit is going to count as our initial walkthrough. I do have another PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to post that in just a few minutes. So enjoy the Kellogg Foundation. They put a lot into this. Again, I've read many, many program evaluation textbooks, manuscripts, whatever it may be, and this is really the best free resource, and it's the one most applicable to, say, nonprofit, sector, even up all the way up to federal grants. It provides you with the tools to be able to get rid of all the stuff that you don't necessarily need to worry about and focus on the critical aspects of what you do at the project level to prove that your program is a success. So enjoy the reading, and we will be talking soon. I'm getting ready to post the next video now.